He follows his block. He's in. Touchdown, North Dakota. Touchdown, Kaminsky. His second today. Kaminsky rolling out, and he throws to the corner. He's got a man pulled in. Touchdown, Tang Tang. Yes, sir. Touchdown, North Dakota. How about that?
UND Football 360.
Going deep. They've got something they like. It is caught deep downfield. B.J. Fleming, touchdown, North Dakota. Touchdown, North Dakota. 82-yard catch and run, and UND strikes first.
Analysis, commentary, news, and a look ahead. It's all things UND football. This is the UND Football 360 podcast.
Touchdown, North Dakota!
With your hosts, Kelly Howe and Tank McNamara.
Well, they say it's not how you start things, it's how you finish, and that's what happened on Saturday. We walked out of Tennessee Tech with the W. We're moving on to week 2 of the playoffs. Life is good, right, Kelly?
No, life is great. Boy, for a half, it wasn't that great. Nobody knew what we were watching, but life is good, Tank. I mean, come out of there with that win to finally get a road win in the playoffs. This is what we've been waiting a long time for. And for the best part for me was on Twitter, an hour after the game, whatever, UND puts those pictures on from the locker room. And the look on those kids' face, like they were the happiest group of people in all of America. In that locker room, you could just see it. I mean, so happy to come out on top and just get that monkey off their back, and just after the bad taste from the week before too. That was the key.
Well, the end of the season, like the last few weeks, it's just kind of been right there. But even Coach Schmidt got in on some of that jumping. I noticed in the video, but we got to work on his hops a little bit. I joked around with him about that. After the South Dakota State game, I said, I think you need to get in the gym with those fellas at 5 a.m. Some of the, like with Coach Bostic.
Yeah.
I said, we asked him about that, and he said, what'd he say?
Should probably think about it.
He said, no. He said, you're there sometimes. And he's like, I'm never there. I need to be. So we got Schmitty's workout routine. And then Lance Rucker had a big day, and we're excited to partner with Lance Rucker on the little baby merchandise. So if you saw our social media pages, help him out. Let's keep him here, right? Not that he's going anywhere, but I think if anyone watched that game and you're a college football coach, he definitely got your attention on Saturday.
That was one of the most dominating performances I've ever seen. I mean, I remember a few weeks prior, Wiltshire had a heck of a game where we were saying the same thing, but this one was different. I mean, he was everywhere, and I didn't realize he came up with that. He got the sack, forced fumble, and fumble recovery all in that last one. And it's just, so then you got to go check the box score. And my God, I mean, that was a all-time box score. That's 5 games for a lot of guys. And he did it all. He was pretty much unblockable at times. And we're going to get into it with our game in the game review here. But I mean, Rucker was unbelievable.
UNDFootball360.com. Go to the website. There's Jerry Kaminsky gear, and hopefully he is doing okay. I haven't heard lately how he's been, but we'll talk more about that, and also some JYD. Couple different options on the JYD. Yeah. Just want the basic letters, it's there. You want the hashtag with the letters, it's there, and then a couple of cool designs. That dog, got the collar, and then I think you got all the, like I've said before, you got the T-shirts, you got the women's clothing, you got the hooded sweatshirts, you got everything. Like you just got to click around in there and you'll see all the options pop up. So it's not that we're just selling T-shirts or anything. It's pretty much everything. I mean, if you want a oven mitt with JYD on their tank, can figure it out for you. Well, I think every UND baby should have a little baby onesie, right?
Kind of fits. Yep.
Yeah.
It would be good.
It does look cool. Yeah, so, go check it out. But, congratulations to the team on Saturday. And let's just dive into it right now. We're ready to go. Kelly Howe Agency game review. 31-6 win over Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. And I was in a Crookston hockey rink watching that first half, and a lady walked by. Oh, is that the UND game? Oh, good. We're up 3-0. I said, no, that's not good. This just the way it should have been going, the way our defense was playing. It felt like we should have had one of those 28-0 games.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what we were saying. That's what we were saying going into this thing. No field goals. We had 7,
Yeah.
right? And it was just, oh no, here we go again. Type of a thing, letting them hang around. That creeped in my head right before half. I'm like, oh my God, are we letting them hang around again? Oh no, type of thing. Just because we know Tennessee Tech's 11-1, that type. But we knew our defense was playing well. So I didn't know how to, in my head, I didn't know how to reconcile this thing. I'm like, what am I watching right now? Like, once again, we're winning, but like the NDSU game, we're winning while we're up 10-6 or whatever we're in that one. And it felt like we were losing. It's just like we want more and it's just ugly. Then we turn it over and then we don't take advantage of this. But then the defense jumps up again. Okay, hey, now we're riding the roller coaster.
The defense was carrying us completely in the first half, and you can't have that.
When they were even better in the second half. That was the amazing thing about it.
But then things woke up a little bit, and things fell our way, especially that fourth quarter. But what do you put your fingerprint on that first half, Kelly, offensively?
It was just, I think they came in with a game plan, which everyone does, right? But I don't think they knew what they were up against. It's because you never played Tennessee Tech. You don't really know what these guys are capable of up front. You can only watch tape, right? So I think they had their game plan. We were trying to get the running game going, and the version we were trying wasn't working as much early, but we knew we had to keep going. The only way they wear down is if you keep doing it. But then it's like, okay, you keep beating your head against the wall too and only getting 2 yards, so it's like we got to keep doing it, maybe hit a chunk play, keep trying to do it, hit a chunk play. I think that's what they kind of turned into. They're like, they hit dang twice, on the fade ball and then the touchdown in the end zone. I think it was a little hitch and go type of a move. But it seemed like they figured, okay, it's not going to be as easy to run as we thought. They're loading up the box. They're going to play man-to-man on us because our receivers typically, we have struggled to get open when it's tight man. But then they figure, okay, Dang's our guy. BJ Fleming was out. So it's like, okay, we got to try Dang. Try this size. We got to try something. Well, he ended up running by guys. He looked pretty good when he was moving. So, yeah, I think it was a struggle the first half, trying to figure out what to do, Tank.
It took Isaac a while to put his fingerprint on this one.
I think so. And, there was
because
just
he kind of came out with a little air attack right away.
Yeah, they threw right away.
We were hearing pound.
Yep. And it was interesting. It was just, but it was choppy, but the defense was keeping them in it. And I think, finally it was the end of the third, start of the fourth when the dam kind of broke for Tennessee Tech. It was moral, kind of a moral deal too. As soon as when we went up 17-6, when Simon came in, and that 3rd and 2 I put out on Twitter when we threw the little quick bubble. Well, they sensed on that one. Now, that's why I loved it so much, is because typically 3rd and 2 we run up the middle, right? Well, Simon checks, it's a part of the play. It's not necessarily a check, but he does have to yell out a few things. And he saw the safety was so far back, so it's 2-on-2 out there, but the safety's at 10 yards. Well, you can just throw the bubble. Dang, you got a 6'5" guy blocking the corner. And so it went for 12 yards or whatever. That's when I think it broke their back a little bit there. Oh, God. Then we got 1st and goal, I believe, at the 5 or something like that. We run in untouched, touchdown, and that's when it was, the floodgates started to open in the run game, and they got wore down. And, that's kind of what we thought, that the way they looked in the fourth was going to happen a little earlier, is what I think all the UND fans thought, but it didn't. But the offense took over in the fourth, but the defense played from
start to
opening
finish.
Snap to the end of the game with a.
Before we get to that side of the ball, though, Z Barth, and that's something Coach Schmidt always talks about when he talks about him. Like, as you're getting worn down as a defense, we want a healthy, fresh Z Barth to take over. And boy, that really played in. But were you surprised we didn't see him? Was that see him earlier?
I don't know. See, it was obviously a game plan thing, because I think it was the end of the third he came in. And when he came in, boy, he looked fresh. But here's what people equate Gavin to a power running game. Okay. But that was not a power running style every time. There was one play where he dragged the pile. Okay. Did you see his jump cuts in the hole and his vision? Now, that was something we've been missing because Sawyer tends to want to hammer it up in there as fast as he can. And if the hole's there, he's gone, right? But if the hole's not there, he just kind of runs into the back of the guy and falls down. There's not a whole lot of jump cutting and vision and patience.
And
right?
is that where
Patience.
you can maybe see the age gap between them, younger and veteran?
Yeah, and
Young
Gavin was getting it. He would get in the hole maybe yard downfield and slow down. And he was setting, his blocks were getting set up, and he was letting them in front of him. It was kind of interesting to watch. Then all of a sudden he jump cut to the right the one time and shot out around the end for 8-9 yards. Then he jump cut to the left, another run, and then pounded it up, put his foot in the turf and pounded straight ahead. So his vision, when I saw that, I was just like, we haven't seen that type of running in weeks and weeks and weeks, because it was exactly what we needed in that moment. Because our guys, like we said, the O-linemen now were starting to get on guys. The tight ends were starting to get out on guys. They were going hat on hat, pushing them downfield, and then to bring him in and have that kind of senior vision leadership, it was just perfect timing, actually. So, and then, like I said, he started dragging guys. He dragged them into the end zone on the touchdown too. And yeah, at that point, it was just too much for Tennessee Tech.
Let's talk quarterbacks. Jerry gets hurt.
Yep.
His availability next week, not sure. It sounded like he wanted to go in the game and didn't know. But talk about Jerry's play in that game, and then talk about Simon coming in.
Yeah, Jerry.
Granted, it was two different parts of the game.
Yeah, Simon came in when they were getting.
He did finished it off great.
Yeah,
right?
he did
a
well.
nice job.
Jerry, we're hoping for the best with that. He's not, it's not 100% by any means right now. Nobody knows if he's going to play. Nobody knows, if he's even practicing. Those things don't go away in a day. He got hit twice in the head. I put it both on Twitter. I made a clip the other day, but for some reason, ESPN is black screening their game. You can't screen record.
Oh, okay.
So they put a little deal up there to not let you copy the playoff games. So I was going to make a clip, so I'd use my phone to do it. But he got hit in the head twice, and they didn't call either one of them. Now, the second one's a late hit because he's a runner at that point, but he was down. So the second one was late hit. The first one was helmet to helmet, crown right to the side of his helmet. Even the announcer's like, that's probably going to be, that's targeting.
They didn't even think about it.
And nope, targeting. I mean, what the? So he got hit twice in the head, and he's throwing up in the garbage can and sitting there. It's just like, I felt terrible for him because he was playing okay. Granted, now he had to play through the tough part of the game when we didn't quite know. We're adjusting on the fly, but we realize, you got to understand, Isaac Frichte also knows that the defense is playing extremely well and is dialed in. They had Tennessee Tech figured out. So he's not going to get loose and just get wild and maybe get strip sacked, or anything.
Yeah.
He's keeping it under control, but trying to score points, but he's not getting stupid. So we got to remember that. So that's when Jerry was in there. So it was tough, but those passes to Dang were nice. Hit Nate on another one. The running game really wasn't there for him much. He had a few nice runs himself, Jerry did. But, yeah, and then Simon came in. Now, when he came in, the first drive or two weren't real fluky and played all year, Yeah. But he started getting a rhythm there. He looked nice. The offense was getting in. He was burning clock. He did a nice job there. And then, like I said, he came in and it was 10-6. So we have to remember that. He didn't come in at the end. He but he ran the offense, let's say, for all the last 21 points of the game. And he did a good job. I think, they can run him like this week. We'll get into it. If Simon, I wouldn't doubt he plays this week because why not? You know what I mean? Let's give Jerry. I was thinking, after the game, I was thinking about it, Tank. Why not give Jerry a break? Second quarter, one series. Simon runs out there, do some stuff. Well, hell, Jerry can still go in the same series. Give him a break. change it up. Give the other, give the defense a little different look. Just give your offense a little different look. Let the players see another guy out there. What the hell? Who cares? You know what I mean? It's like we're just trying to win games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gary'd still take 90% of the snaps, but but Simon, when he gets running, he can move. That kid, he can move and he can get through the hole. So yeah, I thought that the quarterback, it was nice. That was nice having a senior who didn't quit when he got beat out. How nice was that? Because we're going to remember, Javance is hurt. He's out for the year. So it would have been down to Sulik now, who's never played before. Young kid who's never played. He would have had to come in if Simon had got pissed off and been immature about it and quit the team before the season.
Yeah.
Well, technically, we'd be down to a freshman in that game to close it out. I don't know. I don't know if it would have turned out the same. So good job. Quarterback.
It's a good thing Isaac didn't beat the hell out of him as like a wide receiver this year.
Right,
Too.
yeah.
So, no. I talked to Simon after he made the decision to, hey, what can I do to help out this? And I said, that's going to carry with you a lot farther in life than just this season. And you can tell that kid's got great character, and he's going to make a good farmer up there in up by Langdon. Yeah. So defense, my note here, really masterful game plan by Coach Schmidt. I mean,
It was.
they never had a shot, did they?
No, they hit the one touchdown, and I think Zach Lewis got beat. He might have bit on something,
Yeah,
and that was it, just
consistent.
because he bit.
That
was it.
They struggled all day.
No, they couldn't get anything, and it was
Like
we
they were
sat
having a hard
back.
time keeping their head above water, right?
Yeah.
That's what you could say.
They couldn't block, and then I think we figured out, like I've always said, okay, you go back to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl against the Giants. Why did he lose twice to the Giants in the Super Bowl? Well, because they had Strahan and Tuck on the defensive line, and you know what they could do? They could bring 4 and get pressure on him and drop 7. They were screwed. Patriots were couldn't move. The best offense in the league couldn't move the ball. Because if you can bring 4 and get pressure, you're the best D coordinator in America, and that's what was happening in this one. I think he figured out the coverage downfield was good, so they were covering up deep stuff. They weren't going to give up anything, but they realized Tennessee Tech couldn't run the ball at all. I mean, they tried, and they were getting like 1 yard, 2 yards, and they quit. They completely abandoned it. So then he's like, okay, now I'm not worried about the run. Let's see. Now I'm going to cover up deep, and they're gonna have to let stuff develop, right, if they want to move the ball. Okay, how long does that take? Well, you saw on Saturday how long it takes. Takes 3 seconds. Mr. Rucker started arriving within 3 seconds. Caden Vig, those guys all started getting in there with 4. We didn't even have to bring pressure. And the other thing he told me, he's like, you can't when you see a guy getting on a heater like Rucker was, you don't want to bring pressure because it screws up his pass lanes. It tells him, no, here, I'm bringing a guy off the edge. You have to go through the C now to make this. Well, now he's pigeonholed.
Okay.
No, you don't pigeonhole him. When he's on one like that, you tell him to stand on the end and just turn him loose. Go do whatever you want. Just go get Kasparis.
It's like feeding a hot guy, hitting the threes in basketball. Just keep feeding him, right? Let him do his thing.
Don't run an offense. Just go. You know what I mean? So
drive and pass.
Yeah. So that's kind of what happened in that. And then what was funny, the evolution of the defense. I mean, we're going to get into the stats here in a second, but if you notice, go back to the fourth quarter. If you're really bored at home, people, pull up the ESPN replay. We started bringing corner blitzes. So I'm like, Jesus, okay, we're up 17-6, 24-6, okay? And we're bringing corner blitzes, and we're for both sides. And I'm like, geez, why are we doing that? Well, now they realized at this point, now they're really going downfield. So now they're really going to have to stand there and let him run around, and he's going to take 4 seconds because he wants to hit the big one. Well, you can't. If we're going to bring corner blitzes, you can't do that, So I think he was bringing the corner to try to free up, because we always brought an inside with it. So it'd free up Malachi McNeil on the inside, because now they have to slide there. They'd pick it up. A lineman can see that. They make a call, so they kick the cover, the protection to the left, right? Let's say the corner blitz is coming from that side. Well, all of a sudden Malachi McNeil comes through the inside. He gets that sack. And that's when I think they had it. They knew that was just, at that point, it was just, now you're just piling on because you're bringing stuff. You know what they're going to do. And but the game plan, back to the original point, Tank, the game plan was very good. It was solid. They this Tennessee Tech team was not playing that well coming in. They were losing a couple of their games. I think it was Gardner-Webb they were losing. UT Martin the week before they were losing. They were not playing as well, and I think they could sense that defensively, that the rhythm wasn't there. I mean, you want to talk about our offense, we talk about choppiness and trying to get in rhythm. Well, their offense was never in a rhythm all day. And I think the key was we took away the running game right away. But back to those stats, the UND defense, 6 turnovers forced, 6 sacks. We forced 4 fumbles and had 2 interceptions.
And Wiltshire.
Yeah, Wiltshire came up with
Picks up
another
one. Big one, too.
Hey, what did we say all year? As soon as this dude starts catching them, everything's going to change, right? Well, he's halfway through the year. All of a sudden, he's got, I don't know, maybe he did get the spray. Did he get the stickum on his gloves?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he did do it because those are hand catches. He's reaching out, fully extended hand catching.
Or they got the jug machine out and just did hours of you're going to catch the ball, right?
No, good. Yeah, he's been so good lately. And Jai Martin got one in the end. Did you see? I don't know this for a fact, but Jai Martin is gutting this thing out. When he got that interception and started running back upfield, he looked like he was pulling a plow. Boy, he's tight. He's getting tired. I think he's something's hurt, a knee or something, a leg, because he kind of limping a little bit. But then I thought, I was kind of laughing. I'm like, oh, he just ducked out of bounds too. He's like, I'm not running this thing back. He just ran out of bounds about the 20 and called it good. And but then I thought, what does it say about the kid? He's in game 13 here. And when you watch him, you can see he's limping around a little bit and he's in pain, but he hasn't missed a snap. I mean, he is just gutting this thing out and being everything you want in a teammate out there. So that was awesome to see him get that interception on the tip ball. But yeah, what did I have? I think it was second half. What did they have? I think it was 120 yards in the second half is all Tennessee Tech had. That's them trying to come back too. So they're trying to come back and win the game. They get 120 yards the whole second half. But just, absolutely, masterful. One of the best defensive performances I've seen.
Yeah, and then I just looked at the players of the week. Hayden Stay, offense. Lance Rucker on D. Grant Nolan, he played a good game.
Yeah, corner.
And then the game breaker this week, Sam Strandell, who made his presence known in this game.
Missed the first punt block. Got a finger on the second one, so blocked it. Third one, we got to talk about that punt.
Yeah, we'll get there.
What was that? Oh, my God. What did I watch? I was mystified. I've never seen that before in my life, Tank.
I've never seen a loss of down on 4th down. I was like, there's no way we get the ball.
Yeah.
And then,
I didn't
15
know that was
yards
the rule.
on top of it, too, right?
Or 5.
Five yards.
So here's where I figured out where it was so odd that we never see it, because it's a punt. But a quarterback will do it, okay? But a quarterback, it just goes back to the line of scrimmage. You're not expecting a punt. You know what I mean? You're not expecting them to gain 40 to plus yards. So, okay, if a quarterback does it, be like, all right, cool, we get the ball right there. No one would think anything of it. Well, a punt, it's just so odd because you're expecting to lose that yardage when he punts the ball. So Samson comes through again. They just decide to not block him all game. Comes through again, and he beats the guy to the kick. It basically runs by him because he's there so quick. So the punter, oh, man, he's thinking, I might as well run for the first down. Well, then our guys recognize he needed to get like 12 or 13, I think. And our guys recognize that, go tackle him, but he's 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. Well, so they throw the flag. And I'm sitting there, all right, he's past the line. I'm like, yep, all right, he's past the line, perfect. Let's see, how would they tack it on to the end? I'm thinking, or something, I don't know, because he did kick it, I believe. Yeah, so tack it on to the end, whatever, okay? Not even close. It's 4th down, and that's a loss of down. So, okay, and I did not know you could lose the ball on a penalty. Mm-hmm. I had never seen losing the possession on a penalty.
But it makes sense.
Yeah, it does, totally. So, we get the ball back at the 24 where they were punting, and we get 5 yards. So it's 1st and 10 at the 19 going in for UND. And I'm like, my mind was blown away.
Because when I saw that, I go, how do they do that now how do you do a loss of down on fourth down?
Yeah.
You can't.
That's what I didn't understand.
Because I was like,
yep.
The answer is pretty simple. The other team gets the ball.
But on a punt, it's so huge. Yeah, I mean, you make up all that 40, 50 yards, whatever he was going to punt it, you get all that back.
The punter's going to be like, I'm one of 3 guys in the NCAA to do something.
Yeah. Ever. Yeah. I know. I'd never seen that before.
Special teams. We need a kick. We need to be consistent, don't we? There's just no way around it.
1 for 3.
If you're going to go far in the playoffs, you need to be pretty solid in all 3 spots, and that worries me.
Well, punting's going good, but yeah, geez, he hit the first one. Loffman hit the first one, looked good. Second one, I believe it was the one going left on the screen. We got a 5-yard penalty. He made it. We did a 5-yard penalty because we jumped. Then he hooked it. So he hooked both the misses left, I believe. But we just can't. God, this is just, I mean, I don't like getting after, players individually. But kicker, it's like, how do you not address it? Because he's the only one doing it. But it's just like, we got to make those is the point.
You hate holding your breath on a 32-yard field goal, and that's where we're at right now.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And like I said, that's why I want 7. I don't want to deal with this. I want to kick a field goal late when we're up 14, 17. If he comes out and kicks, great. That's why I wanted 7s, because field goals are so messy right now. And we make them great, but it doesn't really demoralize the other team. 7 demoralizes. You know what I mean? That's why I kept saying 7.
But the 19-yard miss against NDSU was that we talked about. That was a game. That's a chip shot.
Yep, that one was a big one.
And I'm not knocking the kid. It's just talking to as a team. We need to make those.
Yep, we need. Yeah, if they want to go.
Yeah,
if deep in the playoffs. Yep. We're not a perfect team.
No,
so we can't. We got to have all hands.
Montana
on deck.
was a 1-point loss.
Yep, Montana was.
And that was a extra point, correct?
Yeah, I think is that what we missed? Yeah, extra. Yeah, that one went. That one was bad. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know.
So it's been both kickers.
Yeah, they'll work on it. Yeah, I mean, we just got to keep plugging along. Try to get in the end zone is the key, and give those guys. But then the week before he was 3 for 3. So it's like, it's there. He can kick the ball. And when he kicks it, like that first field goal is perfect. Right down the middle, nailed it. That was good from 45. Perfect. All right. But it's just the consistency. Yep, that's what we're looking for, and we'll get there.
Moving along on our Development Homes Guest of the Week. Got a couple of them here today. Tarleton State Texans play-by-play man, Byron Anderson. And Tarleton State, Byron, first of all, welcome to our show here, but give us the overhead view of what Tarleton State University is all about.
Yeah. Whoa, that's a big question. Started off. That's
you can slant it towards football.
More football. Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. We don't talk much else on this show, so.
Sure. Yeah. For football, I think if you simplify it that way, we are a school that is, obviously has finished up the transition from Division II to Division I. The end of our Division II time was really good. Our football team throughout the years, in the early or late 90s and early 2000s had some pretty good runs, had a couple of good teams in NAIA. But as far as Division II, the last couple of years, we had really good runs and were undefeated. And then in 2019, we made the jump to Division I. You spend 4 years in probation. Now it's 3 years for other schools, but we spent 4, and it was, you guys can imagine, just not even having the ability to make the playoffs. So, fans and players and coaches are really hungry for the playoffs. We love it so much. We got used to it at the Division II level, and then we're without it for a while. But really everything that goes with Tarleton State football now, it revolves around our head coach, Todd Whitten. And he is in his 3rd time here at Tarleton State University. He was here in the mid-'90s for 1 year, then moved on and took a job as the OC at Wyoming. And then he came back in the early 2000s, and we won our first conference championship, our first Division II playoff game. And then he came back in 2016. And since that time, it's just been really, even with the Division I move, it's really just been an upward trajectory. We haven't lost or had any losing seasons, except for the very first one when we were 5-6 when he got back, but he was taking over a team that was 3-8. So it really just revolves around him and what he's been able to build here at Tarleton State University. And then, as far as the school goes, since I got here in 2016, which actually same year that Todd got back, we have gone from around 12,000 students to about 22,000 this year. So being about 60 miles, around an hour and a half from the DFW area has kind of given this place some life. It's easier to get to and fro than it used to be, obviously. And it's easier to hear the stories and the great things coming out of Tarleton State. And then just, it's a really fun town and a really nice place to be and fun place to go watch a football game. And again, Todd Witten's just been the whole story behind that.
You got, just real quickly, I was on your guys' webpage. It looks like you got some pretty sweet digs for the locker room. Those pretty new?
Yeah, so we got the locker room. We put those in, I believe, in 2019. And then we had another update in 2022 where we built out some more of the facilities, a common team room, some video areas. We've actually, going outside of football, in 2019, we also are still in football, but we opened the new side of the football stadium, which has suites and reserve seating. We basically tripled our reserve seating, moved it to the other side. My favorite thing is I don't have to stare into the summer sun in August when it's 100 degrees outside and cover up my radio equipment as I get ready from the game. But it makes a big difference for the fans too, just to get a little bit of shade during that time of year. We've added a new arena, which we call the EECU Center, which is a $130 million multi-purpose facility that obviously hosts our basketball games. But we also host concerts. We've had Leanne Morgan there. We've had Co Wetzel, a couple other big acts will come through that I'm not very cool, so I don't know all the names of the bands, guys. But it really is. It's kind of now a place that people in this area can go for a really upscale event with suites and stuff like that we really didn't have unless you're going to go to Abilene or Fort Worth. And so it makes a big deal for this area, which we call the Cross Timbers area.
Okay. Yeah, we know about, going back to your talk of the transition, we know all about that UND transition 2008 to 2011 is when their 4 years. Yeah. And yeah, it was awful. It was just hodgepodge of scheduling, and being in North Dakota, there's no one to schedule, so the 1 year I remember, I did the sideline radio after Tank was done. I actually took over, and the 1 year our closest road game was Arkansas. And it was just, wow. Oh my God, some long 6 o'clock kickoffs out at Davis, California, stuff like that. Oh,
wow. So are you saying that your head coach at one point was the sideline reporter?
No,
Kelly was. Yeah.
I thought you said
no. Our head coach played at UND.
I thought you said you took over for him. I was like, that's as a radio
I took
guy,
over
that
for
would be
Tank.
the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. No, took over for me. Eric Coach Schmidt looks more like a Tank than I do. Yeah. So he fits that name. I'm not a very big guy, but there's a name I was given many years ago, and
that's a cool name, man.
Yeah.
It could be better. You could be like the little engine that could or something.
Yeah.
Hey, we're moving forward, Tank.
Let's
what do we
talk
got?
football here. Been a good year for you guys.
Yeah, it has. It's been an amazing year, man. You go back and we started at Portland State, had a good result there. And then, that's a pretty long trek there, guys, from here out to Portland State. And then the next week over to, in a short week, from a Saturday to a Friday. We played on Friday night, August the 28th, and played Army. And I think when you make the move, you guys will go back and realize it and remember it. But when you make that move, part of what you're doing is you're looking for really big moments. Whereas, an alumni, like a lot of you guys are of that school, I'm an alumni of this school. And So I never really I don't really watch college football because other than the stuff that we play and the UAC and stuff like that, because I don't have a team, right? Well, Tarleton's my team, and I've never got to compare them to, Texas or Texas A&M or Baylor or TCU, the schools in this area. And so we got the opportunity, and we've been doing that. We started playing TCU in 2022, then played Tech, and then played Baylor, and hadn't played particularly well in those games against the bigger schools. And that all changed against Army. Now, I know Army's not, a national championship contender this year like they were last year, but that was their first game coming off the season last year where they went 12-1. I think for the first time won 12 games in, the 100+ years. And we were able to go there, and in double overtime, we beat those guys 30-27. And it was just the kind of moment, and really the first real moment where you got to be part of the big college football scene. And you got to, and the fans got to feel like they were part of it. And you have that staple moment that feels like it kind of puts you on the map officially. Mm-hmm. And so from that point on, we played, for the most part, really good football. We played, and I think ACU is a really good football team. We played ACU and lost to them on the road. Had some injuries going into that game and lost on a last-second field goal. But outside of that, it's been really good. We have a really talented team. We're really deep. We've got 46 seniors on this team. So we're signing days tomorrow. So we're going to hopefully bring some dudes in for sure. But this team is a veteran group that really can get it done, and it's been so much fun to watch.
Real good. Those 46 seniors, have a lot of them come in the last year or transfers?
Yeah, you guys know this. You have to be able to hit the transfer portal if you're going to be competitive. Some of them were transfers. Guys like Angelo Anderson we got from Tulane. Yasir Holmes, both edge rushers. He came from a smaller school. But, maybe more than anything, and some of those guys came back as well, the junior college rule where a lot of those guys like Cassius Kearns are really good cornerback who leads the nation in interceptions with 5. And guys like Tyson Rawls, who's one of our safeties, number 6. Those guys both came back because they played junior college ball and they got an extra year doing that. So it's been a little bit of this, a little bit of that. If you talk about Todd Witten, what he does really good, I think you guys know football. Schematically, especially offensively, we're not doing anything that is, we're not running triple reverses. We're not doing all kinds of, tough counters and, different things that you go, man, they've really schemed it up. It is recruiting. And he actually calls it prospecting, not recruiting, because at the Division II level, you had to look under every single rock. And I don't know if I've ever met somebody outside of Todd Witten that is so good at immediately realizing and being able to take advantage of talent, recruit them, get them here, and then plug them right into a system that works very well with the slow mesh and the the spread offense concepts that we have. And he just knows what will work and plugs them into place, and they play so well.
You brought up the slow mesh. That was my next point. So you got QB Victor Gabalis is at the controls. He's running this offense, and it's going to be interesting for UND fans to watch this. I mean, obviously we've watched it, prepping for the game. I believe, what was it? Wake Forest got it going a few years back, down there, and theirs looked a little different. It seemed like the quarterback followed the back a little bit into the hole before he did anything. This one, Gabalis kind of standing there. He just kind of stands there and reads, I assume reading a safety, that type of thing to see what the run support's going to be or the coverage. Tell us a little bit about this offense, how it came about. How many years have they been running this version of it?
This version of it came around about 2022 when they really started, running the slow mesh stuff. And I'm old. I played baseball here, but I'm an old option quarterback, old wishbone, flexbone, ran that back in the day. And one of the things that you didn't see a lot early on and I think a lot of people should go to this, it's genius, if you really sit and think about it when it comes to running the spread and running the zone read or running the RPO concepts. But that long mesh and that long hold just gives the quarterback more time to make the decision that he needs to make, right? Depending on what you're throwing, it's a run or pass read, and you're trying to look and find out, you've got a player that you keyed, whether it's a linebacker or one of like the star safeties that's down in the box. You're trying to see, is that person going to, is he going to get in a fit? And if he fits, you throw. If he doesn't fit, you run. And it's really that simple. It's a one-player read most of the time. It's not hard to figure out what they're doing. The thing is, they have really good skill position guys and a really good offensive line that can hold their blocks long enough to see it. Now, the one thing it does every once in a while, you'll see it, and it seems to hit us in really bad times. We had one against ACU that did it, but we'll have offensive linemen that are engaging in their downfield. And get a big play called back like we did in that ACU game where we had a 70-yard pass called back in that game because of it. But it really is different, and I really am surprised more teams haven't gone to it that run this kind of offense just because, like some of the concepts that they ran at Baylor or TCU, you're trying to simplify it for a quarterback and make it to minimize his mistakes and really to take advantage of matchups. It also makes it really hard. Most teams, what they're going to do is they're going to put 7 or 8 in the box against us, challenge the run, and they're going to try to man up on the outside, and it just doesn't work most times. And that's what you have to do. You have to really pick run or pass. And we've got the players and the pieces. The big difference in us this year and last year when we lost to South Dakota is we've got hogs up front on both sides of the ball. We got pushed around in that game against South Dakota last year, and that was one of the things in the offseason. Hey, Todd Whitten said, we got to go get dudes down there in the trenches, and I think we really didn't know what we had until that Army game, and I think we've got guys that can compete with teams like yours and teams in the Valley Conferences and in the Big Sky that we can compete this year, whereas last year we had the skill guys, but we didn't have those big, hog mollies.
Let's switch to the other side of the ball. The defense now, I was watching that. Looked like a 4-down unit. What can you tell us about the defense this year? One thing, I was seeing is it seems like the D-line is kind of they don't rush upfield too far, real stagnant, but they're trying to maybe hold up the linemen and let the linebackers and safety make plays. That type of a defense is what I'm seeing. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I think it's like most defenses. I think, you're probably a little old school like me, and sometimes we get tied up too much because I coached 4 years of high school football. We get tied up too much. Is it 3 down? Is it 4 down? All these defenses can run variations, and that's what we'll do. We'll even have 5 down at sometimes. Now, they may not have their hands on the ground, but it'll look more like a 4-3 classic where there's 2 rushers off the edge and then 3 in the middle. But yeah, it's the thing about the defense is it has had times, and what scares me about your team is your ability to run the ball on offense. But what we've really struggled with is not necessarily the running back, it is the quarterback running the ball. And what's funny is we did such a good job against Army in that game, containing their explosive running quarterbacks. And then the rest of the season, that's something we really struggled with. So it's big plays, just like on offense. We want to make big plays and finish runs and finish them in the end zone. On defense, it's been problems with kind of giving up a little bit too much. You are right, though. It is kind of one of those situations, hold the line a lot of times, let some of those more skill-like players on the outside make plays. And then the other thing, too, is, guys, we've gotten so many turnovers this season. We continue to do that. I think we got 2 more last game. So I think we're up to, on the season, 37 turnovers, which is by far first in the FCS level. And that's good and bad, right? It's good in the sense that you create those opportunities. You saw it last week, getting 6 turnovers against Tennessee Tech. But the thing is, when you play good teams and they don't turn it over, now are you able to stop them on an end-to-out basis and a down-to-down basis? And I think that's at times what we've struggled with. If those turnovers aren't coming, well, are you able to stop teams outside of that? And so the answer most of the year has been absolutely yes, but on the games that we struggled, ACU and last game against Austin P, running quarterback who could scramble, get outside the pocket, or do some designed runs, those really, to be honest with you, just kind of have ate our lunch as of late.
How are you guys in the special teams department? That's kind of an area of concern for us right now. So, where do you guys match up? What kind of kicking game do you have?
Well, if you guys struggle there, and I'm going to tell you, if that's somewhere, and I haven't dug down, I watched y'all's game last week. I'm going to watch a couple more as the week goes on. But that is a place that we have excelled all season. We have we got two different kickers. One does shorter field goals. Brad Larson, the guy that kicked the one that won the game against Army, and then a guy named Corbin Poston, who's a local kid who handles kickoffs and longer field goals. He made the field goal that tied the game and sent us to overtime against Austin P a couple of weeks ago, which allowed us to hold on and get it to overtime and eventually win. But special teams has been great. If we're lacking one place, our punter at times, his average, is only about 37 yards, which is a little bit below. But our coverage teams, our kickoff return, our punt return with Caleb Lewis back there, who's one of our running backs, he is excellent at doing that. Now, he's been hurt part of the season and just come back the last couple of weeks. But he is really good. I think he averages something like 10 or 12 yards a return. Now, that's only on a handful of returns, but you can just see that's one of the things the good Lord put him on this earth to do is to return punts, because there's certainly a knack for that, and he really knows how to do it. So if you struggle in special teams, that's a place we've been excellent all season. A lot of, and it's hard to tell, but a lot of the different places that you get information from have us ranked at least in the top 5. A lot of them that I saw, 2 of them I saw had us ranked at number 1 when it came to special teams on the season. But that doesn't mean anything, because guess who I saw was number 2 there last week? It was Tennessee Tech. So, and they had a hard time special teams. So anything can happen anytime, but we have been excellent there.
The UND Football 360 Pregame Show is proudly presented by Rumors Sports Bar, Grand Forks' home for pregame hype, postgame breakdowns, and every big moment in between. Whether you're meeting up with the crew or catching the game on the big screen, Rumors is where UND fans rally. Cold drinks, good food, sharp takes, and the kind of UND energy you can't fake. Development Homes, Inc., gaming, simulcast horse racing, pull tabs, blackjack, and the pig wheel. Interstate Industrial, oilfield services, the 1883 Collective. Hey, we're still here. The 1883 Collective is a 100% volunteer organization. It exists to support student athletes at UND. Contributions to the collective help fund support for unique ways to get students involved in the community. Want to add some juice to the excitement of the football program right now? Dollars to the 1883 Collective are fuel on the fire as we work to recruit and retain top talent in our football program. They work closely with partners in the athletic department and the Alumni Association to ensure they're providing second-to-none opportunities for student athletes that choose to come and stay at UND. Go to 1883collective.com, click on the Get Involved tab to make your contribution today. Our Development Homes guest of the week continues here. We've got head coach Eric Schmidt. And, Coach, how does it feel to be still playing football? It's got to feel pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's fun. It's, obviously really, really pleased for our staff and for our players. And, I like to call it the family business, man. Our guys put a lot of time and effort into this. So for them to, just to be able to feel the locker room afterwards, you could tell there was a lot of guys that were really, really happy to be able to stay together here for another week and move on in the playoffs is something that, we talk about all the time here. It should be a goal and an expectation of our program to be playing in December. So excited for the players.
Well, and the thing that fans are starting to notice is you guys are playing as good on the road as you are at home. So that, that issue that had plagued the program a little bit in the past seems to be gone, because the effort you've put in on the road this year has been like Southern Illinois. That was a excellent game. I mean, from beginning to end. And this one was the same. Now, it wasn't beautiful on offense in the first half, but the overall effort and the desire out of the players was there. I mean, I was a little bit worried going in, like, okay, after South Dakota State, did you sense anything during the week, coming off that crucial, a tough loss, and then finding Sunday, hey, all right, we got new life. Were you able to sense it from your team that they kind of took on that mantra? Hey, we do got new life, and it's time to re-energize this thing.
Great question. Yeah, I think, especially defensively, we did not feel like we played very well against South Dakota State. We were disappointed just in our performance. I think I could have did a better job of, getting some of the adjustments to our guys sooner. We went back and forth on the sidelines on a few things as far as new adjustments that they had from formations and run plays that they hadn't shown up to that point. And, I think it just got our guys a little bit off of, kind of some base teaching stuff that we had been really consistent with the whole year, and just, so I think on that side of the ball, I think we were really disappointed. We didn't execute a blitz at the end of the game, the way that we wanted to, and really felt like, when that happens and you feel like kind of you beat yourself, like those are hard to swallow. And I think our guys, understood that they got a second chance. And I think defensively, our guys were ready to go. They felt like they had something to prove, had a chip on their shoulder to be able to prove that they were a better team than what we showed, that day. And it was exciting. I just think on that side of the ball, like the entire day, just watching our guys play with, a lot of effort, a lot of focus. And then offensively, obviously it was ugly there for a while, but, in the fourth quarter when it really mattered and it was, something that I think our program needed is to go on the road in the fourth quarter in a close game and then just, be able to establish our identity and pull away from them, I think was really important and was really good to see.
Well, you came in and said you got to earn 7, 0, and 1, those numbers. And I think we found out why Lance Rucker wears number 0. Were you expecting that kind of day out of Lil Baby when you were drawing up the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of confidence in Lance. I think Lance has, steadily improved throughout the season. I think when we talk about, one of the really, base, principles of our program is relentless pursuit of continuous improvement. It's part of our culture. It's, everybody in our organization attacking this thing with a growth mindset. Like he is that, he epitomizes, that quote and that part of our program. And he just every single day, puts his head down and really pursues the work. I talk about it all the time. Like you can't negotiate with the work. Like you need to seek it out. You need to pursue it. That's how you're going to get better. And, I think he's been consistent all year long. Even when he hasn't maybe got sacks, he's hit the quarterback a lot, too as well. And just, been around the QB and really helped out, our secondary at times too as well, where, at times maybe we weren't in great position to be able to defend a ball while he's, around the quarterback, hitting the quarterback in his face, making him throw from the bottom of a well where it's hard for the QB to be able to find those receivers. So he's an elite pass rusher. He's really an elite edge. He plays well against the run, too as well. There's some things physically we need to keep working on with him here in the future just to, get his body, where it can be, he can play that position at the next level, too as well. But, it was awesome just to 3 strip sacks in one game. I always say, hey, sacks are great. They stop drives, but strip sacks change games. And when you get 3 in a game, you got a great opportunity to be able to win that thing.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable stat line. I mean, that's 4 or 5 games for a lot of guys, and he did it all. Kind of like Wiltshire's game a few weeks before that. Well, he mentioned the 7 and the 1 weren't too damn bad either. Okay, let's say 7. Malachi McNeil was everywhere. His energy was contagious. You could see he was doing the work on the inside. I saw him buzz out a few times, cover up the tight end on out routes. I mean, he just had a juice to him too. Sam Strandell's coming off the edge on those punt blocks, unblocked, and just basically messing with that guy all day. He gets a finger on the 1, and then, the weirdest play I've ever seen in my life when the punter ran across. Okay, before you don't even have to talk about those guys, Coach. Let's go straight to that punt. You're a special teams guy. Did you know that? You probably did, but did you know when you crossed the line, okay, illegal kicking, loss of down on 4th down. Did you know you were getting the ball right there at that spot?
No, I actually thought the rule would have been where we caught the ball, and then we would have got 10 yards from there.
That's what I was
thought
thinking
the rule
too.
was. So
Yep.
there's a lot of unique rules in the kicking game. You want to start pulling up the rule book and looking into the kicking game. Like, there's a ton of things that come up there that, come probably happen once every, couple years, maybe even less than that. So actually on that play too, Jet Sutton made a heck of a play. Like, we're dialed in as far as the protection and being able to get Sam to the punter every time. Well, the punter just let Sam run by, and then all of a sudden everybody else is, they're all blocking their guys, expecting a punt to be able to go down the field. And Jet came off his guy, really hit the punter pretty hard. That was initially what we thought. We were like, hey, like, he doesn't have protection anymore. He's running out of the pocket. And then we found out that, hey, he had punted it beyond the line of scrimmage. Yeah. So really good play by Jet there too as well, because if Jet doesn't see that, that's probably a momentum changing play in the game. The punter, just on his own, being able to go make a play and get a first down. But no, to be able to change field position like that, really the tip punt got us the ball at the 50-yard line, the partially blocked one, and then that one got us the ball at the 20-yard line. So really, like, two really important special teams plays, game-changing type plays that helped our team be able to establish field position.
I hope you didn't argue that call with the ref. No, we're supposed to get it where we caught it. Yeah. You kept your mouth shut.
When
on
you're
that
not sure, you just listen to them.
Okay. Yep, you're
like,
right.
Hey, you're going to get the ball here, and everybody. I think you looked at our whole team; they were kind of huddled up back by where the ball had landed, and expecting to have the ball somewhere advance from that spot. So once everybody found out, like, the whole team was pretty juiced up when they found out where we were going to get the ball.
I think Tennessee Tech found out what you mean now when you talk about tackle Gavin Zebarth when he's fresh in the fourth quarter. They found that out, didn't they?
Well, I think, that's his secret sauce. And he was obviously, raring to go. And, as a coach, you want to do a good job of making sure that you protect your players. But at the same token, at some point, you just got to go turn them loose. And in the fourth quarter, man, he was running really, really confidently. I think, once he started, getting some of those big chunk yardage, it became really demoralizing for their defense. And once we got up 2 scores there, all of a sudden it becomes, how bad do you really want to tackle Gavin, at those points, just because, now the game's probably, out of your reach. And I think that's when he really started to impose his will, and our offensive line did a great job, and all our backs. I think Colton Burnell's really improved here as the year's gone along. And now with the, the red shirt rule no longer being a factor, you saw what Chuck can do, too, as well. I think, Sawyer's a guy we've really ridden here, for the last probably 6, 7, 8 weeks. There was a stretch, I think 4 weeks in a row where he was over 100 yards. And obviously, he's a guy that, once again, same thing. We got to continue to make sure that we really push him to be able to train hard in the off season, so he can put some weight on, so that he can handle, the rigors of an entire season here. But yeah, I think just, that's the one thing right now I really feel good about is, besides the offensive line, we felt like running back was, the next, the deepest part of our team was at that position. And you got to see some of that, on Saturday in the fourth quarter.
Let's talk Tarleton State here. You got a heck of a team waiting for you down there in Stephenville, Texas. What are you seeing? Let's go with their offense. What are you seeing from that offense other than it's unique? It puts up 45 points a game. It has no problem throwing deep. I figured that out real quick, and it is an interesting. It would be a fun one if you're a fan of the Texans down there to watch. But give us an overview of that offense.
Yeah, I would say probably 60% of their offense is the slow mesh RPO stuff, where they'll block everybody up front, and there will be a really slow, long ride between the quarterback and the running back, and then he'll read, basically your second and third levels, and there's a tackler over, on that side of the ball that has to, start to get in position to be able to make the tackle on the running back if he hands it off, and if that guy gets too close to the line of scrimmage, then they're going to go take the one-on-one behind him, and they're not afraid, like you said, to throw the ball down the field. So, our deep ball defense at DB is going to be really important. We have to do a good job of getting, some pressure on him too as well. in those situations. So I think offensively, you know, they're dialed in. They know their identity, and it's been really, really good for them. You know, much like, you know, what we played last week too, as well, as far as, you know, an explosive offense with a lot of skill players. I think the running backs that we'll face at Tarleton are probably the best, most explosive group of running backs that we've seen this year. They're not bigger, you know, type bodies, you know, like maybe we've seen at Murray and a little bit at Tennessee Tech last week, but they're guys that are sudden. They'll make you miss. And then when they do, they're fast. So, you know, obviously our space tackling with the way that they line up and do things is going to be really important, that we're able to be able to, you know, one shot, one kill, and get some good players on the ground in space.
Yeah, this offense, I mean, it seems like we had their play-by-play guy on, and he said it's real simple, but it's real effective in that they just will keep coming at you with simple plays, and they just keep throwing it downfield, and, you know, they're going to connect on it, some of them eventually. And he said, you know, there are very few times they kind of got in trouble this year, but yeah, it's interesting. That slow mesh, it kind of reminded me of, I remember when Peyton Manning used to do the wide handoff to Edgerrin James. And I think Tom Morris said they did that to hold the linebackers. So he would run out at a 45-degree angle, and nobody knew if he was giving it to Edgerrin James or not, for about 2 full seconds. Well, then all of a sudden he pulls it and he throws downfield. You know, that type of thing. It seems like they're just, you know, it's pausing you. And is that a major issue this week for your linebackers, or is this something that we can, you know, that can be learned in 1 week?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge for sure. I think it's something that has become, you know, really unique in college football. I think a few years ago, maybe, you know, for the last, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot more teams that were, you know, really dabbling in it, and a lot more teams majoring in it. And I think, you know, it's kind of, you know, taken its course, and teams have gone away from it. And they're definitely, you know, a program that is majored in it, that it's their identity. Like I said, it's probably half of the plays that they run are the slow mesh plays. Now, there's different run concepts that they're doing off of the slow mesh. They'll still run, you know, some insert schemes, some zone schemes, some gap schemes off of it too as well, which I think makes it even, you know, more challenging. You got to be able to fit up different runs. And then, you know, like you said before, like there's a ton of throws that they have a lot of explosive plays down the field, you know, as many explosives as, you know, more explosives than anybody we've played in the pass game this year. So, yeah, it'll be a huge challenge for us. We've got to do a great job of just trying to limit them. And then I think our offense, you know, especially this week, like we're going to have to, you know, score some points, you know, similar as we did against, you know, Youngstown and Kansas State and some of those teams that, you know, we were able to get momentum back when our offense got on the field and move the ball and scored some points. I think that'll be really, really important here this week.
Yeah, I was watching their defense. It was a unique kind of like when we talked to their play-by-play guy, it seemed like they kind of catch up front a little bit, not uber aggressive on the front four, but they're trying to tie up your guys a little bit and see if their linebackers can come through and make a play. It was a unique defense. So yeah, you'd think there'd be opportunities in the run game for us. Is there anything you can tell us about injuries this week? I know you're missing a few guys last week. Obviously Jerry, you know, is in his situation, his protocol. Anything you can tell us at this point, or is it going to be a wait and see on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, we're still working through some things. He is working his way through protocol, so we'll see how that you know goes here. But you know, he's done a good job up to this point, you know, recovering, and you know, he feels like he's in a really good spot. Now, Jerry's always going to tell you what you want to hear because he wants to play. So I think it's our job just as coaches to make sure that we care for and manage our players, and he's got to pass, you know, with our medical team. Like they're ultimately going to be the ones who are, you know, going to decide whether or not that he's, you know, ready to go and that he's fit to be able to go out there and protect himself and not, you know, hurt himself any further. So we're still working through that. Like I said, I think, you know, we'll see how he does here. It's really going to come down to, you know, tomorrow and Thursday, see if there's anything lingering after he starts really moving around and practicing and exerting himself. I think that'll be the biggest thing that he'll have to prove to our doctors that he can do and not have any, symptoms after he does that. BJ went a little bit today, so I feel like there's a better opportunity for BJ Fleming this week than there was last week. Obviously, he's going home, too, as well. So I think that, is another incentive for him to be able to hopefully, have a little bit more juice to be able to get out there and go. And then other than that, it's just, I think, be more, practice again today. He went all last week. We warmed him up and then just decided he wasn't ready to go yet, completely. But he's been banged around now and banging other guys around here for another week. So I feel like there's a better opportunity for him too, as well, to be able to play on Saturday. And then we're still waiting on CJ Elrick's just, he kicked today. So what's really happened with him the last 2 weeks is he kicked more today. He's kicked more powerfully as times got on here, but then he's become really sore the next day. He just can't the next day can't recover, like we want him to. So tomorrow we'll get an opportunity to be able to see, just where he's at this week compared to where he's been in the past, as far as what his soreness and pain is like the day after doing some extensive kicking.
Hey, Coach, we got a few questions from Twitter here. And we know you got to get going, so maybe a quick shotgun approach, and we'll just start hitting you with them. Depth at corner has really been tested this year, right? And there's no doubt about that. So, the state of that room? What's the state of that room? I mean, I don't know. I mean, the two guys you're playing, Nolan and Bennett, they're playing pretty much every snap now at this point. I mean, is there a need? Is there third, fourth guy, or is it all? I mean, are you down to freshmen at that point, or what's the state of that room now?
Yeah, Evan Klude played some.
Okay.
Bennett went out for a series or two on Saturday, so Evan Klude came in. He's a true freshman, so at certain points against South Dakota State and against Tennessee Tech, that's two true freshmen out there playing corner. So both those guys have developed here, and Coach Steps has done a good job of catching them up with the schemes. I mean, Grant's played for us all year, so that's not a surprise that he's out there doing what he's doing now. He's proven that, he can do those things. But Evan's come along. I mean, he was one of the last guys on our team, on our roster from the summer. And then Q's playing a little bit too as well. And then we've moved Grant Tyluki out there just as an emergency guy. He can be the next guy that can go out there, and if something would happen, we'd have at least a plan to be able to have a fifth corner, if we needed one during the game.
If you had to look at a surprise from this year's team, it could be in general, it could be a player, it could be anything. A reader asks, what's a surprise that you've seen this team, a pleasant surprise with this 2025 squad?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of really good stories, guys that are having their best years this year that have really developed. I mean, I probably miss a few of them here. So, I think Caden Vig has been a really, good asset to our team. I mean, just, opposite of Ruck, I think he's played really, really well. I think he fits the field edge mold for us, and Ruck fits the boundary edge mold. I think Johnny Wiltshire's had a big year, he's been around the football, been really, really productive, all year long. So those two guys come to mind. I know there's other, guys too as well, but just maybe some guys that, I don't know, going into the year, if there was many people talking about those two guys, and really they're all conference players now, as you've seen that's come out here, and guys that the rest of the league, I think, has some respect for how they've played, and they love football, man. They love ball. They're here every day. They're excited when they get out on the practice field, and they've improved and really done a good job of constantly, just doing little simple things better, this year, I feel like, than they probably have done in the past. So, no, I think those are two guys that come to mind, and there's definitely some other guys too as well.
Last question here from Twitter here, and then we'll get rolling. But recruiting week, I mean, we're probably, 15, 16 hours from when the fax machine gets fired up. Probably don't use the fax machine anymore, but how's that been? Finalizing your recruiting class and also getting ready for a team that, let's be honest, we're not real familiar with.
Yeah, it's been a challenge. Obviously, it's a good busy when you're, when you're still playing at this time of year and have opportunities to be able to extend your season. So you got to be able to balance your time between making sure that, the guys that are in the building, you're giving them everything that you can inside you to make sure that they're prepared and they feel good, that, everything is where it needs to be preparation wise for them to be able to be successful on Saturday. And then, there's a lot of our guys that are even up to this point, getting calls last night that, we have to keep in touch with and make sure that, the plan for them is still to sign with us here tomorrow, as far as other schools and things like that, trying to get on them, and MAC schools and things like that have tried to come in here on some of our DBs here even last night. And I know there's other guys getting calls too as well. So I think, that's been the biggest challenge is, there's a lot of time that still needs to go into recruiting some really good players, because when you get the right players, I feel like you have to recruit those guys all the way until signing day to make sure that they sign with you. So I don't think we'll bat 1,000. I know there's a couple guys already that you guys have saw on Twitter and social media that have decided to go to the Big Ten, but I think all in all the level of talent that we have coming into here will do fairly well as far as making sure those guys are going to be wearing the colors here come next fall.
UND Football 360 is brought to you by TankLogo.com. Hey, it's your one-stop shop for promotional products, corporate apparel, signage, and print. Whether you're building a brand, outfitting a team, or making a statement, TankLogo.com takes care of you and your message from concept to delivery. Trusted by local teams, businesses, and anyone who wants to make their brand stand out. The Toasted Frog, whether it's the night before kickoff, post-game celebration, or just a solid date night, the Toasted Frog in Grand Forks delivers. From legendary fried pickles to craft cocktails and cozy vibes. It is the go-to spot for Fighting Hawk fans who know how to eat well. UND Football 360 is brought to you by Kelly Howe with Nodak Insurance. Trusted coverage from someone who knows North Dakota inside and out. Whether you're protecting your home, farm, or future, Kelly's got your back with personalized service and coverage you can count on when it matters most. Well, normally this time we do the Toasted Frog trip around the valley, but hey, it's playoff time. It's the Toasted Frog trip around the country. Mm-hmm. And what better thing to take with you around the country than some of those pickles?
No, they do. Yeah, they do a nice job.
It's a great starter.
Yep.
Always a good meal. Great date night out or a couples night out. Make the Toasted Frog your headquarters in Grand Forks. But let's go through it. Rhode Island beats Central
Connecticut State.
And my printer didn't do real well, and my eyes suck. 27-19. Rhode Island, the 9 seed, so no surprises there.
It should have been more distant than that. Central Connecticut outgained them, I believe. Not a good sign for Rhode Island. That one, it shouldn't have been that close, in my opinion.
Harvard did not help the Ivy League out, losing to number 12 Villanova 52-7.
Jesus, yeah, we expected.
What we heard was Harvard, right?
First year in the playoffs, but for the Ivy League. So, yeah, no one quite knew what to expect, but. Yeah, the next game will be a little more interesting to talk about. But, yeah, Villanova just pounded them.
Yale, they did their job for the Ivy League, but I don't think anyone thought Youngstown State would lose to them.
It was 35-7.
43-42. 35-7 with how much time?
Oh, that was first half.
Shouldn't matter.
Halftime, maybe.
Shouldn't matter.
And it was 42-14 in the third quarter. And all of a sudden, but this happened now. This shouldn't be a huge surprise in hindsight because this happened against Northern Iowa. They were up huge against Northern Iowa and held on to win by 3 against a team that can't score. So, yeah, Yale all of a sudden just turned it on, and I don't know what happens to Youngstown. They just go into a shell. So, yeah, huge. I mean, that's a big upset, actually, because they were up. When you take into effect how much they were up, big. That's a big upset.
And how they've been playing, too.
Yeah, that's a big upset.
Illinois State, they not really much of an upset, I don't think. What is it, number 5?
Yeah, were they 16? Southeastern Louisiana?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
21-3.
Southeast Louisiana. I mean, they are what a team down there. That's kind of what you get. You don't know what you get, kind of like our game. Tennessee Tech is like, well, okay, they're good, but how good are they? Well, Illinois State, remember my example I used before? I think it was last week. My example I used when James Robinson was at Illinois State. They went down to SEMO, I believe, and just kicked the hell out of them in the first round of the playoffs. And this was this exact scenario because barely got in. Illinois State that year barely got in, and then just went down there and kicked the hell out of them. This same thing. It was just too much.
Abilene Christian gets Lamar 38-20.
Yeah, that was about right. Those two teams from down there. So Abilene's pretty good. They got a good squad, just like we're going to see with Tarleton this weekend. They got talent and they can put up points. We played them a few years back. They came up to the Alaris Center.
Any surprises to see South Dakota State big over New Hampshire 41-3?
Well, Chase Mason returned, so that helped them. I think they're off. I think it just gave them an overall juice.
Then watching them in the Alaris Center. Yeah, the way they left there, they were on cloud nine, right?
Yep. So
I thought they were going to take the party right to the locker room.
It doesn't. On the snow-covered ground, it was an interesting game. But New Hampshire didn't even show up.
And then, South Dakota beats Drake 38-17. I thought that'd be a little bigger spread.
It was close. It was first half was close, and they pulled away. Second half they pulled away, but it was interesting. Drake's tough. Drake plays tough. Physical football. They just usually don't have playmakers. Not real dynamic team ever, but they're always solid. They do a good job recruiting down there, for what they got. So, but Missouri Valley had a very, very good day, 4-1. Youngstown could have made it 5-0, but I think the overarching theme was that, people were complaining that the Missouri Valley got 6 in. Well, here's your answer as to why they got 6 in. So it was good, and it justified it for future years. The committees will remember this.
Rumors Sports Bar, Grill, and Casino. The 360 game preview, noon kickoff, Tarleton State. Kelly will be in the house, possibly on the sidelines maybe. I heard you got connections.
Yeah, boots on the ground, on the field even.
So,
right.
You'll have your wife with you, your lovely bride. Has she watched a game from down there?
No, she's been down there a little bit off and on with me over the years. So she'll. I think she'll enjoy it. Yeah, especially we'll enjoy 60-degree weather. I know that after the last few weeks here, but I'm excited. It'll be fun. We're gonna get in Thursday night and go right into hang out around Stephenville and just stay down there.
Okay. Yep. Everything kind of runs through their quarterback. It sounds like this is gonna be a fun offense for us to watch as long as we shut it down, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun one way or the other. It's going to be fun, right?
Yeah.
But Victor Gabalis, big kid, started at Washington State, played 3 games there, transferred to Utah Tech, where he played 11 games for them. Then he started now for Tarleton for 3 seasons. So I believe I'm at 45 games he started in his career. This kid's seen a lot of football. He's gone through a lot, and produced. Good player, big. He can run a little bit, but not his deal. But this offense, this slow mesh, we've talked about it throughout the show. It's interesting, and he runs it well. It just gives him more time. He can just hold the ball, and he's not even looking at the running back. He holds the ball out for just looks. The running back just kind of nudges up next to the ball and stands there, and then he's just reading. He's reading safeties. He's reading linebackers. He knows who he's supposed to read on each call. And it's interesting. He does a heck of a job. But
they must have good running backs then, because
they're good.
That seems kind of hard to kind of just do and then hit the hole.
Fast,
if you get
powerful
the ball
guys,
and you don't know if you're going to get it or not.
Yeah, you don't want to have a 230-pound guy.
Timing is pretty big.
But a lot of the handoffs are kind of a outside zone sweep thing, a sideways. So they'll run a normal offense. They'll run where they catch it.
Maybe,
they hand it off and run around the end. So they'll do that. Then they'll do a reverse. But then when they do the slow mesh, it is interesting, boy. And it puts you in a predicament back there. The safeties, and they got to stick to their calls, and they got to stick to their reads, and they're going to get runs. They just are.
Would you rather play against this offense or the Veer?
Probably the veer, because I know they're running it. These guys can throw. Wait till you watch.
Add another element to their.
Wait till you watch this. The fans here to watch. They're gonna throw downfield 20 times minimum. And when I mean downfield, I mean 15 yards plus. They just start throwing it. Posts,
they're looking for home runs.
Double moves, lots of double moves, and they're
they average 45 points a game, so that does make sense.
Yeah,
they're going to hit some home runs.
They go downfield. It's dynamic, and it's going to be tough to stop. But I don't know. It's just it's interesting. It's a cat and mouse game, back and forth. And
it sounds like probably the UND defense, after visiting with Coach Schmidt, is probably disciplined, right? Disciplined.
Yeah.
Maybe not react too quick on everything until
slow. Yep. You're right. A lot of drops by the inside.
And how
backer.
hard is that to do?
Oh, it's hard when you want to make plays. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. Yeah, you want to make plays, and
because
you want to, you trigger. I'm going to get
defending
the back.
the veer was all about being assignment sharp, right?
Yep.
Everyone, I mean, you want to go make the play, but you got to stay on your guy.
Well,
right?
and they're watching. You know that the offensive staff for Tarleton is upstairs watching the safeties, watching the linebackers, looking for and they're signaling that down to run which play when. You know what I mean? So they're sending in, whether it's a deep shot or whether it's a dig, because now they're seeing the safeties dropping deep. Okay, let's go to digs. Now they're running 15-yard crossers, things like that. So it's gonna be tough. They average a lot of points for a reason, but there's opportunities to be had too. They will hold the ball, so we got to keep that in mind. They want to let stuff happen downfield, slow mesh, right? Well, that means you're holding the ball for 2 seconds with no threat of throwing it. You have no intention of throwing that ball. Then you're pulling it. Then you're throwing the ball. So we're at 3.5 seconds, roughly. Well, Mr. Rucker needs to get in there. He needs to be active, and when do we bring pressure? That's the thing. You just don't know. I don't know. I think it's going to be the first quarter of this game is going to be real interesting to see who's doing what. You know what I mean? What's UND going to do on defense? I think they're going to do a few different things and see what works. And then, like we said, then you adjust and go. Last week's game plan was spot on. This week, I don't know. I don't think they know exactly what they're going to get. So exactly how this works, they've never seen it in person. I think it might take UND a half, honestly, to get dialed in.
Obviously, it takes you. It's harder to prepare for, but with a player. But then, does the mind start taking over in a game like this?
Oh, I'm sure. Yep,
and that's kind of your worst enemy in a game, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're a seasoned veteran, you're supposed to be able to just go play.
Run the call. Just play the call. Especially the safeties. Do not start cheating up Zach Lewis. He likes to do things, right?
Yeah.
Just run the call. Just sit back. We know what you want. You know what I mean? And so, it's a tough one. This is going to be, I think UND can have success. Eventually, I think they can spot pick. I think there can be interceptions. I think they can get them into throwing into coverage here. But it's a timing. It's a rhythm offense. When they get the ball, when they get it rolling, it's hard to stop. You know what the best way to stop it? Run the ball on offense.
Yeah.
Keep the ball. Then they're sitting on the sideline and they're not getting in no rhythm, which that was a quick transition for everyone over to the other side of the ball. But we have to run, and we can run the ball. This is not Tennessee Tech. That was a different defense than
Will this be a bend but don't break day for us defensively?
Yeah, don't let them in the big plays. Don't let the big play.
Yeah,
let them go downfield.
If
but
you
don't
get them
give
into
up
the red
one.
zone, does it make it harder for this offense to run?
Well, I would think because they like to go downfield.
Yeah,
and if we're stopping the run, like last week, if we're stopping
the run, we may give up a little bit, but when they get down to crunch time, we may be holding them to field goals.
Yeah, I hope so. But
I want to know.
The goal.
I want to know.
Kelly. I mean, that would be the goal. But they're going to get yards and they're going to get some points. We know that because they're too good. They're athletes. Their wide receivers are as good as we've faced this year. Their running backs are right up there with the best we faced. Yeah,
and we heard they were just missing in the trenches against South Dakota last year.
Yeah,
and they built up there.
They got better line.
According to Byron Anderson.
Offensively, though, let's jump to the other side. we can run the ball. It's a real passive front. It's like 4 guys that kind of just hold up
Real
their guys.
quickly, though, does it concern you that we don't know who our starting quarterback is yet for Saturday? Right now,
not at all.
Other years, you'd be maybe a little worried, but
no.
knowing Simon's experience,
I think Jerry can come back, but we don't know that. But I think he can come back enough to play. Simon will be ready, obviously. I'd play them both. I mean, if that's just play them both, let Jerry get his feet wet. If he gets in a rhythm, he stays in. If he's feeling off, anything, run Simon in there, run Jerry in there. I mean, they can play them both. We just got to win the game. There's no rules here. Just win the damn game. Go with the hot hand. Keep subbing him in and out, vary by package, whatever. If Jerry's, if he's still feeling any kind of lingering effects, or if he's, whatever.
Obviously, times have changed since you played with the concussion protocol.
Yep.
Now, did you ever have a diagnosed concussion?
No, I never hit anybody. Hit anybody. Tank.
You're a pretty
I never
boy
stayed
in the
out
back,
of it. Yeah,
right?
I stayed out of it. Well, I wasn't dumb. I never hit anyone. So no, I never got him. But I never got one. But yeah, I mean, he looked. That looked
teammates.
awful. Yeah.
Did you notice everyone?
Yeah,
everyone deals with them differently, though, right?
Yep.
Some can
They're
recover right
issues.
away.
Yeah. So nobody will know till Friday whether Jerry's playing or not. But there,
and the throwing up kind of had you a little concerned, right?
Yeah, very concerned. But the big with this game, it's gonna be man to man. So we're gonna struggle a little bit to get open at times. We have to be prepared for that. They're gonna play man to man across the board. But why that's good? Because the run support's not there. We can have 3 guys running them off. We can run down the field 3 guys. So now they have 8 guys left to tackle, but they're not all in the box because you're spread out, right? So when I'm watching this defense, there's lanes to be. We can run on them. Austin P ran all over them. Okay, you can run on these guys, but can we get in the end zone? 7, 7, 7, Tank. We need 7. We can put up yards, but we got to get in the end zone. That's the key.
Feed, dang.
Yeah, dang.
The touchdown
Breakout
machine,
game.
right?
There we go.
Get
Fleming
down low.
could be back, too.
I almost forgot. We got to do our prediction. Prediction segment sponsored by tanklogo.com and Kelly Howe Agency. Nodak Insurance. I just threw that in. I like a 21-14 game.
Low scoring, Tank?
Yeah, I know it's not me, but hey, as ridiculous as you thought it sounded last week, and for a while there, I thought I would look like a horse's ass at halftime, but I think I said like 35-10,
didn't you?
7, 10,
10. Yeah, you were real close. That was a good prediction.
Let's put one more on the board. But I'm going to go
scoring.
21-14. I think it'd be a little tougher game, and I'm not going to lie, it was hard to put points on the board last week. So I just not knowing what the outcome is, I'm going to say this is going to be a little closer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be a little higher than that. I think UND can win. It's going to take a 3-phase effort, no doubt. This is the best team, they faced for a little while. They put up points, and they got athletes. Boy, they got athletes. And but why not? I don't know. Why can't we win? I mean, if we put it all together. Now, if we look poor and we turn it over, well, no, we're not. We're probably not going to win. So I'm sensing a tight one, a little higher. I think we can get up in that 31 range is what I'm seeing. 31-24.
Okay.
We keep them down to 24. That'd be a heck of an effort. If
better
we can
than
get that.
31-28 in my world.
Yep.
So you can breathe a little easier. Noon kickoff. Kelly, enjoy the game. Have safe travels down there, and you just gonna keep going every Saturday.
Yeah. Well, what would it be next week? Lehigh or Villanova? They're right next to each other. I think in Philadelphia, right north of Philadelphia. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe go to
week, huh?
My wife wants to go to Philadelphia next week. Well, Lehigh's only like 80 miles from Manhattan. I saw downtown. It's kind of cool. I've never been.
Might be a spendy trip, but
you
can't
afford that.
ESPN Plus, and then the Fighting Hawks Radio Network. Be sure and tune in to Jack and the fellas on there. See you here next week, and be looking for a special podcast show that we'll be recording Wednesday this week. Enjoy the game.